Since the beginning of time, humanity has looked to the heavens for the answers to earthly problems. Do the movements of the stars and planets hold the secrets to human destiny? Can the patterns of the stars reflect the hidden character of individuals based on the date and time of their birth? Astrology, predicting the future by the movements of celestial bodies, has been with us for over 4,000 years. Yet for countless centuries, millions of people have believed in it. They point to tantalizing evidence from history. In the mid-1930s, some believe a German astrologer predicted the rise of Hitler, a decade before he came to power. Centuries earlier, during the Renaissance, a visionary is said to have foretold that the imprisoned Princess Elizabeth would someday sit on the throne of England. Scholars now examine how a belief in astrology may have led three wise men to follow the Star of Bethlehem. Modern science is subjecting astrology to closer scrutiny than ever, with sometimes startling results. Is belief in the power of the stars merely a baseless superstition, or one of mankind's oldest truths? Before the art of astrology was developed, ancient people relied on a basic knowledge of the stars and planets for their very survival. Many sites around the world speak of astrology's earliest beginnings.
The origins of astrology might even go back more than 20,000 years into the Paleolithic, because there are carvings on bones and other objects that indicate perhaps early interest in lunar tallies, the motions of the moon.
The astrology practiced today was born over 4,000 years ago in the Fertile Crescent of Mesopotamia, now modern-day Iraq. Ancient civilizations in the region created some of the world's first cities and developed early agriculture. They were also among the first to turn sky watching into a codified system of astrology, a method which remains basically unchanged even now. The Babylonian system of astrology might have been lost forever if Alexander the Great had not taken its study back to Greece after his conquest of Mesopotamia.
When Alexander the Great invaded the East in 331 BC, this was a momentous event because he introduced Babylonian astrology to the Greeks and Greek mathematics and observational astronomy to the Babylonians. And the result was basically what we know today as astrology.
Babylonian priests saw astrology as the works of the gods. Later, Greek philosophers applied astrology to reveal individual character and personality. By the dawn of Christianity, the Roman Empire had succeeded the Greek and inherited its passion for astrology. As the Romans marched through Europe, astrology went with them. But historians often wonder why astrology was readily embraced by so many. Society easily accepted it, from peasants to emperors. One Roman ruler would select his astrologers by subjecting candidates to a test that could cost them their lives.
There is a very curious and quaint story about Tiberius Caesar hiring his personal astrologer named Thrasyllus. Tiberius tested his astrologers in a very peculiar way. What he would do is submit them to a test, and if they didn't pass the test, he would throw them off the cliff. Thrasyllus looked at the chart and trembled and said, "I see that I am in imminent danger of death, O Caesar. I know not from what cause." And Caesar said the equivalent in Latin of "you're hired." And Thrasyllus served Tiberius for the rest of Tiberius's life.
While a fascination with astrology thrives in Europe, other cultures around the world also study the prophetic patterns of the stars. Chinese scholars devised an elaborate form of astrology based on associating each year with a particular animal. Constellation charts kept by stargazers for Chinese emperors are some of the earliest astrological artifacts ever discovered. On the other side of the world, the ancient Maya of Mexico and Guatemala create an elaborate calendar with incredible accuracy.
The ancient Maya developed probably the world's most elaborate astronomical and calendrical system. The day that you were born in the Maya 260-day calendar contained your fortune, contained your fate for the rest of your life, and you took part of your name from the day that you were born in this calendar.
While the chronological accuracy of the Mayan calendar is well known to archaeologists, much more mysterious is the Mayan system of prophecy. In the early 16th century, it is predicted that bearded, light-skinned visitors.
Oh, yeah. So, bearded, light-skinned visitors would come to their continent, which is when the white people came. And they predicted that they would be riding on cloud ships, which they were, right? The clouds being their ships. So we are studying an absolutely ancient art form, right? That for thousands of years our ancestors have studied. Yeah. So this isn't just, you know, a skip in the bucket, a rock in the pond. This is some very deep knowledge that has been being passed down for thousands of years in many civilizations. The study of the planets, the study of the stars, the study of the constellations and how they relate to the very moment of our birth. From that very moment, right? And thank you, Lynn, for this absolutely beautiful testimonial from last night, that she loved the way that I was teaching, making astrology simple and approachable. It's awesome to have you all last night getting that feedback and that information to you. So, would you all like to know, what are the 5 pillars? What are the 5 ingredients that you really need to have in your tool belt to be able to read a chart? Ready? Okay. So, number 1, and I'm just going to fix the coloring of this slide because it's really hard to see. Just let me fix that for you and you can get a better screenshot. Let me. Yeah, well, I guess that's what we're stuck with. So hope you can read it. Right. Number 1, the 4 pillars. Okay, the 4 pillars being the ascendant, the IC, the DC, and the MC. That's how you can start. I mean, you could use any of these things to start, but once you have that foundation, it's going to be really, really helpful for you. Number 2, learning what each of the houses represent, right? So each of the houses represent something different, as Alex was referring to, right? Number 3, the planets, asteroids, and points. So there are 10 planets, which we'll go into. There are a ton of asteroids, and that's more advanced, although I love looking at them. And there are several very powerful points that, knowing them, I sort of rank as from most powerful to least. And those points, one of those points, of course, being the north node and the south node, or the destiny point and the past life point. Super powerful for knowing how to read an astrological chart. Okay. And number 4, the signs, right? The constellations, the 13 signs. Those 4 alone, you could do great things with. You could do a whole reading with those 4 alone. Number 5 is the aspects, right? So the aspects are the relationships between the planets. Yeah. So, any questions with this so far? Go ahead and raise your hand if you do, or just ask it. Maybe you don't know what to ask yet. That's okay too. Go ahead, Karen.
Hi, Laura. Sorry I'm late again.
Oh,
I
it's okay.
promise I'll be on time tomorrow and Friday.
Okay.
I just had a conflict.
Fine.
What is the how you know what planet rules a sign?
Yeah.
Is that just memorization, or is
Yeah. Yeah,
that
it's memorization, and it's also emotional connection. That's really how I've learned astrology, is I kind of started to learn how to embody each thing, right? Learn what those energies are. What does the planet represent? Really feel it, really sense it. And then, oh, the sign. Oh, what planet rules this sign? And you get a feel for what that planet is. And then you kind of get a sense of how it rules that sign, right? You can kind of just feel it. It's really powerful.
is it something that's static? So is there, so the same planets rule the same signs, and that doesn't flip flop and move around depending on when I'm born?
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay,
It's
static.
fixed.
It's
It's fixed.
okay. That's something
Yeah.
that helps. Thank you.
Yeah, and knowing the planets that rule the signs, that is really the secret sauce. Knowing that, memorizing that, what planets rule the signs, oh my goodness. That is power right there. Yeah. And there is some controversy around the rulership of the planets, which planets rule which signs. So that is, something you're going to have to work with and use your own intuition with as you go forwards. But once you kind of have it down, it's pretty fun. Just recently learning that Chiron was another ruler potentially for Virgo. Wow, the breakthroughs I've had. And in the next couple of classes, I'll be able to share with you what I was able to discover for myself. So there's something called a planetary ruler of your chart. Have you heard of this before? So there's
From you,
one
I think I heard you say it before.
there's one planet that is considered the main ruler of your whole chart. That is super key. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to go around and go over each of your charts and share with you how to figure that out. Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Find out what one of the head honchos of your chart is, right? Because we know our sun sign, right? That's easy. That's easy. But what planet rules our chart? Okay.
Can I just ask something really quick? What you said, the planets, the asteroids, and the points. What did you refer to the points? Which points?
Yeah, so I haven't listed them yet.
Okay.
So this is like a very basic outline that over the next 2
Okay.
days we're going to fill in.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So we're just getting you started. We're just like, oh, that's all it is? Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's a little better. So I think And Christine, if you want to take another picture of this, I think it's a little more clear. Anyone else do? And this is a very simplistic outline, but it's nice to have that, right? Okay, so this is the five main things. And you can use your hand, right? The 4 pillars, the houses, the planets, asteroids and points, signs and aspects. So you can take one hand and learn what those things are. And with those 5 things, you can do everything. Isn't that pretty straightforward? Like, it's not a million things. It's just a couple. Just a couple. So I do want to request everyone to, if you can make sure you're muted if you're not talking, because I was listening to the replay today and the sound was a little funny because there was a bit of an echoing going on if you're unmuted. So I'd really appreciate that, just so that we can have our recordings be nice and clean and clear. So just stay muted until you unmute. I don't care if you unmute when you're talking, just that would be really helpful. So thank you. Okay, so the 4 pillars, the houses, the planets, asteroids, and points. So what we're going to do now is I want to go through each of your charts. And then, I mean, that's it. That's the secret recipe. It's kind of like, really? Because in that very simplistic pattern is a lot. Okay, but it's the recipe. That's really, you could start doing astrology charts as soon as you get all of those things in your bucket of knowledge. Yeah, the sky is the limit for you. It's truly spectacular. So I'm going to start with your chart, Karen. And so, does anyone know how you find the planetary chart ruler? How do you find the planet that is the ruler of the chart? How do you find that? Anyone know?
Is it in the first house?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's very specific. It is the ascendant point.
Yeah, because you said mine was Leo.
That's right. Right. So if the ascendant is the planetary chart, is the sign that rules her chart, what planet rules Leo? Does anyone know?
Isn't the sun?
Yeah. 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 So the sun rules Leo. And what are the characteristics of the sun before we find out what sign her sun is in?
Like bright, powerful.
What's
Hot.
it feel like?
Sunny heat.
What's it feel like when you're standing in the sun?
Like
Warm.
I'm shining.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So we have the sign, and that's the ruler, Leo, and the ruler of Leo is the sun. Now, how does she shine? So, so imagine for a moment that Leo is the light, or the sun is the light, and we're going to see what color filter is over that sun. What sign is her sun in? Well, her sun is in Pisces. Whoa. Well, who wants to share what Pisces is about?
Pisces is about feeling and emotion that's connected to the ocean.
Yeah. Intuition.
Intuition, psychic ability, sensitivity,
Yeah.
dreamers.
Mhm. Another big thing is channeling. I always think of Pisces as like having these really crazy long antenna up to the higher realms, and they just channel information like amazingly well. They just can tune into the oneness of creation and channel it. Now, they have to channel it or they go crazy. So they have to find a way, an outlet to channel their awareness. They can, some good ways for Pisces to channel their psychic awareness is to be a medium, to be a psychic channel to help people with information. Two is through art, through music, through dance, um, through so many other ways, right? Yeah, so we can all channel. If we wherever we have Pisces in our chart is where we're going to channel information. We're going to be psychically attuned. We're going to be sensitive. We're going to be empathic, intuitive, all of those things. So since the ruler of Karen's chart is the sun, but her sun is in Pisces, that means the ruler of her chart is her sun in Pisces, which will give her both the energy of shining. How would you put that together? If the sun is the ruler, but the ruler is in Pisces. How does anyone want to try attempting how that would show up for her? What would sun energy mixed with Pisces energy, what would that create? It's kind of like a different thing, isn't it? Think of sun, Leo, happy. So you got to wrap your brain around it. You're doing good. Yeah, how does the sun shine in Pisces? Feel you almost getting it. It's like so close. So close.
Would it illuminate all those things you described? Pisces is
Exactly.
representing.
Exactly. So a way that like I would say it in a reading would be she shines as she channels higher information from above. She shines with art and expression and creativity and intuition and her psychic ability. She shines in sharing her emotion and sharing her psychic senses and sharing her intuition. She shines at this. Well, what could that mean? That could mean being an intuitive healer. That could be being a psychic healer because she shines at that, right? She like lights up the screen when she's doing that kind of work. Then we would notice, wow, her Jupiter is next to her sun. Wow, she's going to shine really big, right? Because Jupiter expands everything. And it's in the seventh house of partnership. So she shines with intuition, psychic ability, channeling in a big way, especially in the region of partnership. That could be marriage, that could be business partnership, that could be working one-on-one with couples, that could be working one-on-one with family. Yeah. So, Karen, I'm not sure how you got from me that you were maybe supposed to work with men, because what I'm seeing here is that the ruler of your career is Venus, which is women. And so I see you empowering business women. And with that sun in Pisces ruling your chart through your intuitive and psychic channeling gifts. How does that land?
Yeah, it's good. I kind of decided that I guess I made a contract, and whatever that contract is, I'm willing to fulfill because I trust source.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you can work with men and women and families. I think you can work with whoever you want to, but you definitely do have astrology around working with women in business as well. Because yeah. But yeah, to bring it back around to the sun being her chart ruler in Pisces, anyone want to share what you think about that or how you might say it, or you know, the chart ruler being the sun in Pisces? What do you get about that? What do you notice? Go ahead. What do you think it would mean if someone's chart ruler is the sun in Pisces in the 7th house? Conjunct Jupiter. Is anyone having any awarenesses with this?
I was thinking like maybe she like I was thinking maybe she kind of like shines like importance like she or maybe she like sees people who have those kind of Pisces characteristics and she like views them very well too. That's what I was thinking before you said that the thing about the shines like maybe she like really notices the like Pisces characteristics and like brings them to light and kind of praises that kind of thing. That's what I was thinking, but it's kind of
Yeah.
where you're coming
Yeah.
from.
Good awareness. Yeah, the 7th house of the other. So she helps the other to shine. She helps the other to be bright. Yeah. Good work. Yeah. Anyone else want to share?
I was also seeing like because we touched on conjunction as well, like with the when we were saying that if the sun is a ruler of Leo and then that her sun sign is in Pisces, but those degree points like they are within 10 degrees, so like that her Jupiter and also Mercury, so Mercury being a messenger to Jupiter expanding things in the sun, like shining light and the light of like being a channel and sharing messages.
Yeah. Good work, astrology sleuths. Good work. That was awesome. Karen, let's hear from you.
Yeah, what was resonating with me is camaraderie, teamwork, and bringing people together to do things more that
Right.
they could do individually. They could do it as a group and have
And she
more impact.
and look how she has her moon and her Chiron in Aquarius, which is the group and the community at the beginning of that house, right? So it is all of it, right? We can't just look at if the one thing is with all these other things, right? If the chart ruler is in the group of all these other things, it's really important to look at all of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I have a technical question. Is that
Sure.
okay? The little line with the little dots, that kind of squares her sun in Pisces, is that telling us that that's the extension of the 7th house? So her sun is still in the 7th house, even though if we drew lines, it'd be in her, really on the cusp, I guess, of her 7th and 8th house.
You got it. It's
Okay.
so hard to see there, but yeah. See that little dotted line?
Yes.
That is showing us that it's just an extension. It's just there's so many planets that it's hard to fit them all in.
Okay, great.
Good call. Oh, yeah. Anyone else want to share?
I have another question. Is that
Yeah,
okay?
of course.
And this is just, I'm noticing and maybe I've just got an idea that's not correct here. I'm not seeing Pisces anywhere else in her chart. Am I missing something?
No, it's just there on the 7th house.
Okay. All right. So, okay. Thank you. I just wanted to be sure that because
Those little signs.
that helps. Yeah. So there's not a planet. Well, yes, there is. There are
There
Jupiter
are
and
1,
Mercury.
2, 3, 4 things there.
Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. So all those planets then are also going to have when we would want to point out to her that there's going to be some Piscean influence inside Mercury and Jupiter as well. So we could share that knowledge too. That would be so interesting to have, like, Jupiter in Pisces. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an expansion of psychic
Mhm.
ability.
Right.
Makes it bigger. And then there's Mercury, which is to communicate.
Amazing.
Bigger. Right. Yeah. So it's a lot of intuition ability. It's a lot of awareness. It's a lot of maybe bringing that to groups with the Aquarius energy there. It's powerful.
Right. And I'm wondering if there would also be a propensity, Karen, for you to really resonate with wounded healers um in channeling that deep psychic information that that would be part of it too. I'm thinking, right? Or no?
Yeah, yeah, for me more than likely, because I've seen a lot in this lifetime. It's either
Yeah,
happened directly to me or I've witnessed it.
right. That's what jumped out to me the most. It was as if I could feel that you have had life experience there, and because you have, that's the expansion. That's where Jupiter's going to come in and help to expand that psychic knowledge and awareness, specifically to people that have had that wounded healer experience. That's
Yeah,
so,
thank you.
that is so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Mhm. And it also means she could use a lot of support getting her gifts out there if she has the wounded healer there, because there could be a lot of wounding around getting her healing talents and abilities out there and to the community especially. And so I know she does healing work, so a really good focus would be to focus in on any wounds around the community and around being a healer for the community.
Wow.
Yeah. And also the communication of your healing ability to the community. But this is so good, Christine and Alex and Kit, with what your abilities are to start reading for people. Like, I have attracted all stars. Like, you all are so naturally gifted at this work. I'm just kind of like, wow. Because to find and attract you all in, it's like a needle in a haystack. Okay. Like, my students, there are not very many high percentage of people who could take this info and do what you're doing right now, and to be interested in doing it. So I'm like super grateful. This is so cool.
I
All
just
right,
have
Kit, go
one
ahead.
question real quick, Lotus. What about earth grid work and healing in that way? Does
Well,
that
all of it.
this applies? Okay. Because for some reason I'm called to sacred geometry and earth grid work. It seems
Okay, you
like
want to
it's
know what
pulling.
I see there? You ready for
Yes,
this,
it's
y'all?
okay. Yeah.
So I was looking at your midheaven because, like you said, I'd said something about working with men for your work, and I think that's another conversation. But what I'm seeing really pointedly is the midheaven, the highest point in the chart, being in Taurus, which is the earth, right? Which is the earth, which is grid work, right? Working with the land. Now it's ruled by the planet Venus. So in order to figure out how to go deeper with this, we want to find her Venus. And her Venus is in Capricorn, which is structure. And it's conjunct Saturn, which is structure, right? So that would be building earth grids with all of this healing and community and large group energy here. I think you're definitely tapping into something pretty profound as shown in your chart. And it's in the 6th house of health and healing in the body. So that could be making a business. Capricorn is business with beauty and healing the earth with grid work, right? And sacred geometry, maybe working in large groups, to do healing on a larger, more collective level with that structure of healing with the earth, which is just, I'm blown away you're asking that, because I saw this pattern earlier and I was like, what is that? Like, the ruler of her career house is in an earth sign with Saturn. Like, what is that going to show up as, right? And so you're like, grid work. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like that is so appropriately aligned to that.
Thank you. That's very helpful. I have a friend in South Africa that does grid work, and I got A+ in geometry, but I struggled with algebra, and they say you have one mind of the or the other. You're either good at algebra or good at geometry. Most people aren't good at both. So it was just funny that geometry came easily to me in high school, and I thought, well, that must mean something.
Definitely.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Super cool. Awesome. Can't
Thank you,
wait to
thank
hear
you.
what you're going to do with that. Okay. All right. And Kit, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to add what was coming to me as well. Like, the earth sign, opposite this, our sun sign is also the earth sign. And the earth sign is 180 degrees opposite from the sun sign. And Karen's earth sign is in Virgo. It's like when you draw a straight line, like I'm using my pen here, but it's like it's in Virgo. So that also is an earth sign in the second house. And the other thing that was coming to me, I often get insights through words, but her surname, Wilder, like there's something to do with the wild energy.
Yeah. Good awareness. You are all such awesome sleuths. And really a lot of what astrology is investigation. How can we utilize what we know to find information, and it's both with our brain and then with our intuition. So really good work, Christine, Kit, Alex, with really tuning into that for Karen. I mean, can only imagine what kind of amazing breakthrough she's going to have after tonight with this input, right? Yeah, Karen, how you doing over there?
I feel very supported. Thank you for everybody to take such interest in my chart and share what's on your heart and mind. I appreciate you all.
Yeah, this is healing. This is healing, to hold someone in our sacred awareness and attention and look at their most sacred map of when they were born. It's very intimate, it's very powerful, and it's very healing. Yeah, we send you love, Karen. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm receiving it. Thank you.
I can feel. Yeah, yeah. Woo. Okay. All right. Woof. So we are in astrology land right now. We're in those higher dimensional planes. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and go now to I think I made your chart, Alex. I think I can. I think I can. Where did I put you? There we go. I almost got your picture too. I almost got that far. Okay. So now we come to Alex's chart. Look at that. With a 1 degree Virgo ascendant. Well, that is where you have very good analytical questions. Virgo is very discerning. It's like a fine tool of, they say Virgo separates the wheat from the chaff. So it's a very strong discernment energy with Virgo. Like, you really notice the things that are good and the things that you want to discard, right? What to keep and what to let go of. And you're always kind of purifying your environment and yourself. You also have Chiron conjunct your ascendant, which is the wounded healer, and exactly conjunct 1 degree rising, 1 degree Chiron. And that's a really powerful energy. Chiron is known to be the ruler of Virgo in some people's minds. And I recently took that on to explore, as Virgo being the Chiron being the ruler of Virgo in my chart, because I also have Virgo rising. And it took me on such a powerful journey of unlocking my purpose that I've never experienced before, that I fully believe that Chiron is one of the rulers of Virgo. I'm almost convinced of it from what I just experienced in my own life. Which I'll share that story eventually, but what this means is that your planetary chart ruler would be in the first house. Now, because most people in the mainstream say that the ruler of Virgo is Mercury, I will look at that too. And so the ruler of your your Virgo would then be Capricorn in the fifth house. Okay. And Capricorn is business, it's structure, it's creativity, it's fun, it's children and romance. But so now you have a choice. You have an option. You can discern for yourself which one feels more real for you, right? So having Chiron be your chart ruler in Virgo is interesting because it would point to your personal identity, the first house, being really important for you in this lifetime, right? If your ruler of your chart is in the first house, it's so much about you this lifetime. It's so much about healing yourself, right? Healing your life. You would be very sensitive, incredibly sensitive, especially to energy, to food. With Chiron there, it could mean that your digestion is especially sensitive and you have to be really careful with food. And it could also mean you have a very deep love and joy around food and nutrition, around health and healing, around all the healing arts, especially. You have a very deep and sensitive soul. So anyone want to, Alex, do you want to pipe up? Do you want to share anything here? What's coming up for you?
Yeah, that definitely sounds really accurate. Yeah, yeah, I definitely feel like I'm kind of a wounded healer too. But how exactly do you know? Is that like the just that Chiron that shows that you have like the wounded healer, or is there like something else that shows that? 'Cause I know you were talking about it earlier too, and I don't know if it was there or not.
Yeah. Yeah. So Chiron represents the wounded healer, wherever it is in our chart.
That's the one with the circle at the bottom and the K kind of at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then yeah, I've definitely because yeah, I've been wanting to start a food business. Yeah, I'm very like for me it's like I'm kind of feeling like I need to have like food in my career because if I spend that much time on something else, it's like I start missing food so much, and I've had a long journey with like food, like all kinds of different diets and things happening with my digestive system and like allergies and being sensitive to gluten and things like that. So yeah, a lot has happened with me and food, and it means a lot to me. I am very sensitive, and yeah, I definitely recognize when people are kind of struggling and they need healing, and I love learning about healing and like at least like thinking that I have certain things I could bring to someone to help heal them. But yeah, I'm also interested in business, so then it like kind of makes sense, like what you're talking about with Mercury and the Capricorn, kind of like building stuff. Like I want to like I like starting like projects and kind of businesses. Like I want to start like more of a manageable business where like I don't expend like I don't take too much out of myself either, because it makes sense like what you were saying, that I want to take care of myself. Yeah, that's been like a big thing for me. And you even told me, like, I remember during the reading that my past life, like with the upside down U, is like it was like in Aries. So my like growing up, it was just like I was really overworked a lot. and stuff. And then my future is like in Virgo, where it's like, yeah, I need to kind of take better care of myself, be like more of a sort of like healthy, aware type of leader. I remember that's what we talked about. Yeah, so makes sense, definitely. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Does anyone want to add anything?
I would. I'm a little blown away here, as I'm looking, because what an incredibly, I mean, I don't know very much, obviously, we're just learning, but I so see an incredible amount of depth here. Like so much depth in, in you, Alex, that most people won't be able to even fathom how deep you go in your soul. And the reason I'm saying that is because, first of all, we have the, Chiron in that first house, and we've got, the ruler of Virgo being Chiron. And so we've got the wounded healer marker there. Then when you go to your IC, it's in Ophiuchus. Oh my goodness. And then when we go up to your descendant, it's in Pisces.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, oh my goodness. I hope there's a little bit of relief here, because there's a lot of that's a lot. That's a lot to me. And then we go up to your midheaven, and it looks like that's in Taurus, right? Is that, I don't remember if that symbol is Taurus. Is that Taurus? Okay.
Yes.
So, which is ruled by Venus, of course, right? So then we look and see where your Venus is. Anyway, I'm just blown away by your chart. I think that you have incredible depth. That's probably really, really hard for you to communicate, because it's just, there's just incredible, I mean, incredible depth in your soul. I don't know how else to express what I'm expressing, but does that make sense? I mean, it's like,
No, I am like that. I'm very emotional and spiritual. And definitely like in my romantic relationships, definitely like really need that like spiritual, emotional connection. Like if I don't get that, it's just doesn't like I haven't been able to even have like very long relationships usually, because largely because of that, because people don't really get on that like spiritual level as often. So yeah, I think it's like I get that sense that like people don't like understand me or like understand my depth, but I feel like I do, that makes sense. But yeah, comes with its issues, but I like it.
Oh, it's beautiful. I just can't even imagine the feeling that you have. I mean, to me, there's going to be a lot of enlightenment in you, because you are going to those depths, and you've obviously been, past life-wise, that sage characteristic is there, the shaman characteristic is there, and then you can bring it into this lifetime too, through those other pillars. It's really beautiful.
Thank you. I really appreciate your response, saying that it's really nice and helps. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
So I just want to point out that as much as she has this depth, she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things in Aquarius, and 3 things in Sag, and 1 thing in Leo. Aquarius is air. Aquarius rises up out of the depth. And so as deep as she is, she's buoyant. She's super buoyant, and she's not going to be able to be understood because she marches to the beat of her own drum. Her depth, yes, but because she is just so involved in new technology and new ideas and new thought forms, she's not someone who's gonna like get lost in that depth. She has super depth, but look at how much Aquarius is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Aquarius is air. Okay, so she's really good at connecting to people, all different kinds of people. She might have more of a challenge connecting on that deeper level with people because it's rarer to find those spiritually evolved beings. You have to find them. They have to come to you. But there's a lightness, I think, in Alex that allows her to connect and network with a lot of different people. And her Mercury is in Capricorn, so that would make her a very pragmatic communicator, like down to earth, grounded. And the ruler of her MC, right, her career path is actually Venus and Sag. Sagittarius is not, Sagittarius is really fun. Sagittarius is very lighthearted. It loves to explore higher consciousness. It's a fire sign. So while she does have Virgo on the ascendant with Chiron, which is very deep, and I would highly recommend doing maybe some shamanic journeying and healing around the past life stuff that you're carrying here. And we can talk more about that because I'm going through my own Chiron healing right now, which is like changing my life. That ruler of your midheaven where you shine the brightest is in Sagittarius. And so you have a joy in your heart for exploring and expanding and being free, right? That the depth of those placements, it balances it. So I want to really, like, as much as I love how deep you all are going and reading these things and awarenesses, there are a lot of layers to a chart. And we might jump to a conclusion that someone is one way, but give yourself some time to process all the layers, because we can say one thing about them, but there's a whole nother layer here, right? And that's a lot of planets in Aquarius. That's a really, really lot. And so when I see that, I see her being a guide for community, like a lot of people in community, like a bit, like big groups of people. I see like new age food, right? Like bringing her food, her healing food to like a big event, right? Catering for like lots of people, right? And if she was just super deep, she probably wouldn't be able to handle that, right? So I want to just like, when you come to those moments where you're like, oh my God, right? You have that moment. The next question I want to invite you to ask is there another layer to it? Is there another layer? And then look and see, how does she have like one sign that's in a million planets? Like, are there a million planets in that sign? Because whenever I see Aquarius, it creates this lightness. It creates a lightness. It's air. It loves to network. It loves to talk and communicate. It is not emotional. And her sun, her moon, and her sun moon midpoint are all in Aquarius. And those are like the cake. I often call the sun and moon like the cake of the chart, which we haven't gotten to, right? So having the sun and moon in Aquarius, it's gonna buoy up the structure, right? The structure of her chart, she has a lot of water and a lot of sensitivity of who she is, right? The trellis of who she is. But the planets and the signs, she's got the filling of her house. A lot of fun. So like if we looked at the structure of Alex's house, right? Let's say the 4 pillars are the structure. Yeah. She might have like a beautiful garden outside with statues and fountains. And then she might have a shamanic temple where she prays and does her, her scrying. And then she might have, a very intimate tea area where she connects with her loved one on a very emotional level. And then she might have a beautiful garden where she harvests plants and food and makes food. Okay. And then in her house, she's going to have a room, an Aquarian house, an Aquarian room that's like full of modern technology. She's going to have like beats on. She's going to have people dancing from every walk of life. She's going to have a food truck. She's going to have all these people networking and connecting. And so that's kind of the difference between what the pillars of the chart show us and then the filling of the sun and the moon and the Mercury and the Venus and the Neptune and all that kind of stuff. I also want to point out that this huge chunk of planets here are in the 5th and 6th house. The 5th house is creativity, it's children, it's joy, it's fun. And the 6th house is about health and healing and service, being of service to humanity. So she's really here to serve the people, right? She's very sensitive, but she's a world server. She's here to help, right? She's here to help for sure. So I loved, Christine, what you did. I loved what you shared with her. I think that, you know, you have a remarkable talent with this work, and I think you could do readings with people, no problem. Just, I wanna really invite you to go to the next level with your chart reading, right? And look at that next level, because it's so easy to just think, oh, it's this way. But then if you go a little deeper, sometimes there's more levels that kind of need to get looked at, right? But you guys had an amazing connection and had an amazing transmission. It was very beautiful and very healing. So you're probably like an angelic angel astrology guide in the making over here. I felt your wings. I did. I felt your wings.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
But thank you for that too, because we are so new at this that
yeah.
I appreciate the guidance, and you're right. I hope that I would look at the whole thing with more practice and understanding.
It was perfect. It was perfect.
So
Alex, it was perfect for you to share with her what you did. I just wanted to be like, okay, and
yes,
bring
and
this in because I want to give as much value to you all about how to do this work as I can. And when I have this like screaming intuition on me, and when I'm like, oh, but there's this, I just like have to share it with you. So thank you for hearing me out on that end.
thank you so much. Thank you.
So in the spirit of time here, I'm going to make a special request. I really want to hear what you share, but if we could keep it focused on that specific point that we're looking at, because there is so much we can look at in the chart, and I want to hear your point of view. And if you see a point and you're like, I see a connection between this point and this other thing, I would love that kind of feedback, because there's a lot. And if we go through each of our charts, the whole thing, we're gonna maybe never get off the call, which is great, but we all have human needs, right? So thank you. All right, so here we go. Alex, do you have written down that your chart ruler to look into is Chiron in the 1st house? And then you can also look at Mercury in Capricorn in the 5th.
Okay, yeah, I got the Chiron down. I'll write down Mercury and Capricorn. Or yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I think I got all that already. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So Kit, it looks like in your chart, you have 34 degrees of Leo rising. No? Why are you shaking your head no? Talk to me.
No, that must be a no. That must be the wrong time chart. I'm not. It's not up on my screen. It's still the other person. It's still Alexis.
Okay.
It's still. Sorry.
Yeah, let me double check your birth info. Okay. So I have you as the 13th of April, 1980 at 1640. Is it 1604?
04 a.m. Yeah.
a.m. Okay. All right, let me fix it. It was so funny because I was doing your chart today And I was like, it was at 4:40 p.m. I was sure of it. I was sure of it. So 4 a.m. Okay. So those of
So
you that have, yeah,
04, 04, yeah.
4:04. Those of you who have a lot of Virgo in your chart, you'll do very well with astrology reading. There's a lot of details, right? It's a lot of precision. There's a lot of just little nuances. But if details aren't your forte and you just love it and you want to assist people and support them and guide them to knowing themselves, then you'll do great with this too. Yeah. Okay, so here's your chart. You know, one thing I love about Kit is that she will always tell you the truth. Always. And I loved when I was like, here's your chart. And she's like, no. I think the power of being clear about what we feel and what we think and what is right for us and what is not right for us is the most powerful thing we have. And so I just want to honor that. And Kit, thanks for being super willing to be honest and share. Nope, that's not mine. Okay. Appreciate that. Hi, Angelique. Hi, everyone. What are you all doing up still? Is it an astrology party night? I'm an astrology. So I'm going to have to do readings for all of these little ones. Yeah, Mags is like, yeah. That'll be really interesting, trying to bring it down to like basic, very basic level. That'll be fun. Yeah, I look forward to that. All right, so here we go. Thanks for jumping back on, everyone. So, you know, and I want to just say thank you all so much for being here and spending your time learning this. It is such a gift to me to have you here to teach and share my work with. It is such a huge gift. Like I wake up smiling. I go through the whole day happy and excited because I love sharing this with you. So I just want to say thank you. You know, thank you for being here and doing this work. It's a rare person who really gets the power of it. And once you get it, man, it's just amazing. So, Kit, I keep wanting to give you Leo rising. I just keep wanting you to have Leo. I don't know what that's about. Maybe I think I knew you in a past life when you were royalty. I keep getting that. Like, I'm like, I know you. You were like royalty. Like, I remember you. I'm like, gosh, I've never had such a strong feeling of that with someone I've met before. I'm like, okay, I know you from, wow, so cool. So in your actual time of birth chart, not the Lotus wanting you to have Leo rising chart, you have 31 degrees of Sagittarius. So does anyone know what the ruling planet of Sagittarius is? Anyone?
Jupiter?
Yeah, we got Jupiter in his house. Okay, so anyone want to share what Jupiter's all about? It's like, anyone? It's like, I could do it, but I already did. Okay, so Jupiter is what? The cosmic Santa Claus, right? It's the cosmic gift giver. It's big, it expands everything it touches. So if Jupiter expands everything it touches and is a teacher and a guide, and Jupiter is the ruler of Kit's chart, what sign is her Jupiter in? Oh, it's over in the 8th house, which is about transformation, which is about death, life, rebirth. It's the house of taxes and sex and death and transformation. It is the house of intensity, my friends. The 8th house is where we transform, where we go from one form to another form. It's the gateway. It is the initiation. It is the pathway of our spiritual self. Yeah. So the ruler of your chart being in that house means that you are a shaman, right? It means you're a mystic. It means you're deep. But guess what sign your Jupiter is in? Speaking of Leo, it's Leo. Yes. That's why I keep wanting you to have Leo rising. Yeah. So that's one reason she kind of looks like a lioness. You do to me. Totally look like a lioness to me. And you're wearing a golden headband, and gold is the color of Leo. Yeah, that Leo sunshine energy. Yeah. So, any thoughts about Jupiter and Leo in the 8th house? Anyone want to add anything to that? Anyone know anything about that? Anyone want to add their 2 cents? Don't worry, you won't get in trouble. Just trying to keep it focused on that placement in the chart. Okay. So having Jupiter be the chart ruler could make Kit a natural teacher. It could make her want to move to different foreign places because Jupiter is the traveler. In Leo, it's performance, it's self-expression, it's creativity, right? It's the ability to expand consciousness and to shine, right? Because the planet that rules Jupiter is the sun. Yeah. And her sun is in Pisces. So that adds an element of psychic intuitive ability to the energy of Jupiter and shining, that she could shine in her gifts as a channel and medium for transformation and initiation. Yeah, so I'm just looking at Sagittarius rising, 31 degrees, the ruler of it being Jupiter, right? And that she's a transformational teacher. She teaches the transformation of the soul. She shines as she teaches and shares, mentors and guides people with their transformation, with initiations, with going through change processes. Yeah. Anyone want to add anything to that from what they see there with Jupiter in the 8th house as her chart ruler? Questions, comments, awarenesses? Go ahead. You can just unmute and talk. Yeah. You go ahead.
I did it by accident. I don't understand the smaller symbols enough to understand what I'm talking about. So I need to learn what those little tiny things are all the way around the chart.
These little ticks right here.
All the things that aren't like the major points.
So
The
are you
little symbols, I don't understand what the little symbols.
these things here, is that what you're referring to, or are you referring to these things here?
I don't know. So
Okay, so are you referring to what are the signs? So I'll just do a little anatomy of the chart lesson. So these signs here are the astrological signs, right? And on the outside, it says, right, Virgo here. And then right here are the signs of Virgo. Yeah. And then these are the planets. So we have the planets, we have how many degrees they are, we have the sign that they are, and we have the seconds that they are. Then these are the houses, 1 through 12. And These tell if it's a retrograde planet or not. And these are the aspects, right? So we have the planets, the signs, and the aspects, right? That's what makes up a chart. And then the aspects are the relationships. Like Karen said, she's really good at geometry. This is just geometry, right? If this is a circle that's 360 degrees, and each planet is a number of degrees of the circle, then that's the relationship between these other points. Yeah. Any questions on that?
I have a question. Where
Yeah.
can we find if there is a chart that explains some of the symbols? Like I'm wondering if Karen's referring to, I know I've got questions like what is the you know, the symbols that we haven't touched on, like the V and the X, and then there's one in there, there's something in there that looks like a word, but it's too small. It's yellow.
Yeah.
And then the A's, you know, A4, A1, A5. Is there a place that we can, or are you going to
No.
go over those? Are those things we're going to go over?
Yeah, those are
Okay,
specific
okay.
for this chart, but I will make you up a bonus list. Yeah, I'm gonna create a bonus for you all of a picture of your chart, and then I will create a bonus list of all of the symbols for you all so that you can read it.
Thank you. That'd be awesome.
Because you're not gonna find it anywhere else, so you'll just be wondering forever. A lot of these things like the VX you can look up, but most of the other symbols are, you know, asteroids or points, and it gets much more advanced. So they're not going to be things that I'm going to necessarily go over in the chart or in the class. I will go over them in the training that I'm going to do, but not necessarily in this class. So yeah,
For me, the basics, like I don't know the planets or the signs. I don't have those memorized yet, the symbols.
yeah,
So.
that's fine. Yeah, you shouldn't have them memorized yet if you're just taking this class. I'd be like, where have you been? What are you doing? Unless you've been studying it for years beforehand, right? And so that, you notice how overwhelming tonight's class is versus last night when we just focused on the 4 main pillars and the 4 points. Yeah, so we started kind of going off road tonight, and it's good because tomorrow we're going to bring in the information of what are the planets, what are the signs, right? What are the aspects? We'll bring all that info in, and then on Friday we're going to go over how do you find the secret soul planet? How do you find the secret money planet? How do you find the relationship stuff? So we're going to go over that powerful stuff. Yeah. Yeah, you're really getting it all with this training. I can't believe I'm putting this all out there. But yeah, you're really getting an in-depth explanation. But you're right, Karen. To read a chart, what do you need to have? What do you need to have?
Well, for me, it's just a matter of just looking at it over and over, and every time a little bit more sinks in.
Yeah. So to read a chart, you need to know what the 4 pillars are, right? The ascendant, the IC, the descendant, the midheaven. You need to know what the houses are. You need to know the planets, asteroids, and points, the signs, and the aspects. However, just knowing the 4 pillars teaches you a lot, doesn't it? You're already doing crazy stuff with it. Kit, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I like, again, the structure you gave there, and like, I also know, like, my journey with astrology, it can still feel overwhelming, so I would be still intrigued to, like, you know, like, let's say trying to share it to a child's level and see, like, I'm where I'm currently at is, like, I want to, like, really scale it back and have it really simplified. Like,
Yeah.
so like when I'm seeing the kids there just now, I'm like, I'd be curious, like, what at their level, like, what is it that they're interested, like, what would they, how would they learn about it at their age?
Yeah. Good question. Good point. Definitely. Yeah. So I'm just going to pause here, Kit. and go back to a couple things before we talk about this, because I think we need to scale it back. I think we've gone too fast, too far forward. We've got, I think Christine and Kit and maybe Alex, you're ready, like really ready to just keep going on this advanced level, but I really want to scale it back here. So if you can, I invite you to take a screenshot of all of the houses here, because this is taking what we learned with the 4 points to the next level. This is the full house system. And this tells you what each house is about. And then on the outside edge, it tells you what sign rules that house. Now, not everyone has Aries on their first house, right? They don't. That's based on our ascendant, and that changes what sign is on the eastern horizon. Yeah. But Aries is the energy most associated with the first house. Aries of the energy of new beginnings, of courage, of identity, of the self. So when we're looking at the first house and we're like, oh, what is the first house about? It's Aries's house. It's the house of new beginnings. It's the house of our identity. It's the house of I am. Yeah. Then we go to the second house, and that's Taurus's house. Resources, self-esteem, the earth, valuables, right? And tomorrow I'm going to take the houses and really go in depth on them and really build a framework for you for them. So tonight, just start to get the idea of what each of the houses is about. You can take a picture of it. It's something you're going to be studying for months/years/ the rest of your life. Okay. It's 5 minutes to learn and a lifetime to master, because there's so many layers to them. But they're kind of like stages where we act out the play of our life. And the sign that's on the edge of the house tells us what kind of stage it is. Is it an active stage? Is it a quiet stage? Is it a, indoor stage or an outdoor stage? Yeah. So those are the 12 houses, and those are the, 12 signs. So how do we fit the 13th sign in? So we would place the 13th sign in the 8th house with Scorpio. They share the 8th house. Now, if you wanted to have a 13 sign house chart, there are maybe one person I know who does that. I haven't transitioned to that. I kind of am still working in the 12 house system, but that takes things to another level for sure. So go ahead and take a screenshot of that. That is the first level that we're going to launch into tomorrow, is what are the houses, right? Because how can we do astrology without knowing, and we're going to tie together the houses with the signs, with the planets that rule the signs, to get the grid work of how you start doing a chart. You got to know the foundation, right? Before you can go into the energies of the planets and the signs. So now that we have the basic idea of that we have houses, right? We got to learn what those are all about. The second thing we're going to learn about are the planets. Yeah, so the planets all have different energies. The asteroids have different energies. And so that's the next layer. So then we have the signs. So we have the planets, we have the signs, and we have the houses. Oh my God, this is so overwhelming. How do we ever learn it all? It's okay. Tomorrow we're going to kind of slow it down and put this together more for you in a way that is clear. Then we have the aspects. Honestly, you can do a full chart reading without even going very deep into the aspects. They give you a lot of information, but the whole chart, the signs, the planets, the houses, it gives you so much on its own. So even Albert Einstein said, astrology is a science in and of itself and contains an illuminating body of knowledge. It taught me many things that I am greatly indebted to it. Right? So even Einstein would say that astrology holds so much information. Okay. So I'm going to stop for a minute here. And it's getting pretty late. Okay. So the last thing, and I know we didn't get to all of your charts in terms of what sign rules your chart, right? We got to Alex, we got to Karen. Kit, we told you that it was Jupiter in Leo. We didn't dive so deep into it because I wanted to start refreshing everyone on a little bit of the backup information, right? And then Yola and Angelique and Nancy, we can come back to you. I want to get that to everyone before we end the class, what the planetary ruler of your chart is. But I wanted to leave you tonight with an embodiment practice. And we talked about all the houses and the planets. How do we start to embody this and stop making it just about symbols and signs? And it's like, it doesn't get in, does it? It's so overwhelming. It's like, like it makes my head want to scream, like, oh my God. So what I want to do is we're all familiar with the signs, right? Like we've heard about Aries and Taurus. And so I want to help us embody those energies and kind of get them into our body, because knowing the signs ties everything together, right? If you know what a sign represents and the energy of the sign, it's really easy to look into the planets. It's easy to look into the houses because it's all connected, okay? So did you know that every body part relates to an astrological sign? Did you know that? Yeah, Kit, because like, yeah. She's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Nancy knew. Cool. Cool. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go through and kind of touch our body and talk about the sign and really embody the signs. Okay. I'm just going to share the screen. Okay. Here we go. Here's a really ancient chart. A little scary, right? To see someone's entrails like that. But here we go. All right. So I really like, and I'll come back to this. I like this picture here. Okay. Whew. So go ahead and place your hands on the top of the head. Just give yourself a little massage. And our heads are like exploding from so much astrology knowledge. So this part of the body is ruled by Aries. And Aries is a fire sign, right? Aries relates to the head. It can relate to being impulsive and acting without thinking. Okay. So Aries is the head. So if you notice like you're having headaches or your head is getting hot or your head is feeling overwhelmed, you could look at your chart where you have Aries and see, okay, what house do I have Aries on? Do I have any planets here? Why is my head getting so hot? Why is it getting overwhelmed? What's going on here? Okay. Then you're going to come down to your throat, which is where we communicate, and give yourself a little massage. It's where we communicate, right? Our vocal cords, our thyroid, right? So if we have any health issues or challenges with the throat, we want to look to the sign of Taurus in our chart. And so I'm also going to include the houses now. So Aries is the first house, the head, the beginning. Taurus is the second house, the speaking. So if you want to be a speaker, if you want to be a communicator, where do you have Taurus in your chart? That's going to be a place that you might be a really good communicator, a good speaker. Then we're going to come out to our arm and just kind of rub both of your arms and your shoulders. Notice that you have two of them. And this relates to Gemini and the third house. And Gemini is all about communication as well, and writing. And notice how it's the hands and the arms. And how do you write? You write with the hands. It also relates to school and learning. And what do we use with our hands almost every time we're in class, right? Our writing. It's also how we give love a lot of times. We express and communicate love through our hands, and that relates to Gemini. Now I want you to come to the chest, in the top of the chest here. And if you want to just, and this relates to Cancer, and I want to just invite you to say quietly to yourself a really nice affirmation for feeling better in our bodies and really kind of acknowledging where we're at. And the statement is something like, even though I feel, and just tune into how you feel, I completely love and accept myself. Even though I feel tired or overwhelmed, or there's just so much astrological information, oh my goodness, I completely love and accept myself. Wherever you're at, whatever you're feeling, just acknowledge it. And this is Cancer. It relates to the breasts, to the mom, to the feminine energy of nurturing and nourishment, which makes sense, right? Cancer being about the breasts, right? Breast milk, right? The mom, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so if you have any health challenges with the breasts, you can look into where you have Cancer in your chart. Where is that sign? If you have planets in Cancer, that could relate to the emotions and to the breasts and the chest. Good. And then we're going to come down to the heart, in the middle of the chest. Just give yourself a little love here. Oof, our tender, sensitive, beautiful hearts. And Leo relates to the heart, relates to the cardiac system. It relates to the chest and the spine. It relates to love, loving ourselves, loving other people. So if you have any issues with the heart, with love for ourselves or other, we can look at the house that it is in. Where do you have Leo? Relates to the colors of like yellow and sunshine. Yeah. Then we're going to come on down to our stomach, our intestine. And, you know, they do such things as like stomach massage. And I recommend just like giving yourself a little slight touch for the stomach. And this relates to Virgo, relates to the abdomen, to the intestine, to the lower liver and the spleen. So if you have any issues with the liver, with your abdomen, with digestion, with food or dietary choices, then you want to look at where you have Virgo in your chart. And then we're going to come to the, let's call the kidneys and the lower back. We're going to say that relates to Libra. So like the hips, the kidneys, that lower part of the body. And it's interesting because Libra is the scales, and doesn't that kind of look like the two sides of the sacrum? Yeah, there must have been some kind of relationship between the body and the creation of astrology. I think it's like very connected. Yeah, so you can just tune into the lower back. You can tune into the kidneys, and that's Libra. And so wherever you have Libra in your chart, if you have any issues with your body in this area, you can go to where you have Libra to find out more information about it. Then we're going to come to, well, you can just go near your hips. Maybe you want to just do your upper thighs here, and that's Scorpio. And it relates to the colon, the sex organs, the groin area, the genitals, right? It relates to reproductive, sexual energy. It probably relates to the base and the sacral chakras quite a bit there. And just, you know, send some love to your femininity, to your femaleness, right? To your being a woman. Just send some love. If you have any issues with sexuality or with sex or reproduction, or with elimination as well, which is the colon. You want to look and see where you have Scorpio in your chart, and that will give you that information. And then we're going to go down to the next level, which is the thighs, the upper thighs, and you can just give your upper thighs a nice little attention, some love, some self-care. I used to do a nice olive oil and sesame oil massage in the winter, you know, before the shower or after, to help to really love and nourish my body. So that's a good thing to do. So go ahead and keep giving your thighs some love if you would like to. And Angelique, you had a question.
Yeah, I was just wondering, because you keep, and I probably just missed this part in the class, when you're saying referring to your chart, like for example, if you have issues with your arms and shoulders, see where Gemini is in your chart. Do you mean referring to like our birth chart, or the chart, like if you were to do a reading like today, the chart for today?
Your progress chart.
Okay.
I
Thank
would
you.
say that you do both. Especially if it's a big issue, then do both. The natal chart is going to tell you more like lifelong, deeper challenges, and the progress chart is going to show you more like current stuff, right? And sometimes it's more shown in one or the other. Yeah, good question. Yeah. So the thighs relate to Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is the archer, and it's also the centaur symbology. So it relates to our movement, right? And the thighs, it's really how we move, right? It's like a vessel, isn't it? If the human body had wheels, it'd be kind of like the thighs and the legs, right? Sagittarius likes to move. It charges ahead. It gallops. It's the horse. And then we have Capricorn, and that relates to the knees. It relates to the bones. It relates to teeth. And while Saturn was retrograde, which it rules Capricorn, which rules the bone system and the bone structure, I knew multiple people who broke bones and who had to go to the dentist. Like it just was nonstop people having Saturn issues around the bones and the teeth. And so it just proved to me again and again that the astrology really can predict issues with the physical body and have an amazing effect. So Capricorn is a lot about moving forwards and taking action in our lives. And so if we have issues with our joints or our knees or our bones, it means that the structure and our ability to move forward in our lives, that's a good place to look in our chart and see what we have there, both in the progressed and in the natal. Good job. I love this like self-massage practice. This is great. So now we're going to come down to our lower leg and our calves. And this is Aquarius. And my mom, she's like, Lotus, make sure you mention that it also, Aquarius relates to the electrical impulses of the body. So that can relate to the spinal column, and it can relate to the energy moving through our bodies. And so Aquarius really relates to the electrical system of the body. So if you have, and so one thing you can do to address the electrical system of the body is to do acupuncture. Yeah, acupuncture or other energy clearing modalities like TFT, thought field therapy can start addressing the electrical system of the body, as well as products like ASEA. I don't know if you've ever heard of ASEA, but it addresses the electrical system of the body. It helps the body increase its signal, its electrical signal, so that the neurons and cells can communicate with one another. Yeah. Woo! And then we come all the way down to the feet, which I can actually touch my feet right now, which is kind of cool. So the feet, of course, are how we ground. It also relates to the bodily fluids and the lymphatic system. And so if you have any issues with the feet, you want to see where you have Pisces in your chart, or if there's any planets in Pisces aspecting or aspecting or influencing your chart that are happening in the sky right now. So that, that would be the body. I haven't quite figured out where Ophiuchus would land with the body. I would think that Ophiuchus, the 13th sign, would probably relate to the electrical system as well, perhaps the reproductive system. Ophiuchus is a new sign, and so there's still a lot of information coming out. Kit, have you ever heard anything about what part of the body Ophiuchus rules?
Yeah, well, the one of the other ladies that I love her teaching, her name is Cassidy Lee Bell, but she shares that Ophiuchus is to do with the cervix.
The
and
cervix.
the cervix
Wow.
but for me, I see that okay, that connects to a woman's body, but we obviously men also have Ophiuchus as well. So where is it in a man's body?
Right, and I think we theorized that maybe it was the penis.
Yeah, I'm still to find that out. Yeah.
Woo, it's getting very interesting. So the jury is still out on what part of the body in men Ophiuchus rules, but Kit is contributing that she has heard that it is the cervix, and the cervix is quite a component of our biology. It's very internal. It also relates to our creative energy on a very deep level, doesn't it? And so Ophiuchus really connects to our creative capacity on a very profound and deep level. So that, and I haven't quite figured out how to teach you a cervix massage. We'll save that for another training. So you can just send a little love to your cervix wherever you are and appreciation for your power of creation as a woman. And so that is the astrological signs through the body, right? Aries is the head, Taurus is the throat, Gemini is the shoulders and arms, Cancer is the breasts, Leo is the heart, Virgo is the intestine, the digestion, Libra is the hips and the kidneys, Scorpio are the genitals and reproductive organs, Ophiuchus is the cervix, perhaps the penis in men, Sagittarius is the thighs, Capricorn is the knees, Aquarius is the calves and the electrical impulses of the nerves, and Pisces is the feet. So just go ahead and take a nice stretch and just, we got through all of the signs, through the whole body now. And for those of you watching the replay, everyone was doing this along with me. It was very neat to see everyone sort of bringing the astrological signs and embodying them in their bodies. Would anyone like to share what that was like for you? If you had any aha moments, or I'd just love to hear from you all.
Oh, hi, Lotus. For me, I just love to learn, and I can see in the many few months that we've known each other that your teaching is just grown. Your ability is just shining so brightly, and it's an honor and a pleasure to be here. That's what I'm trying to say.
How did you like bringing the signs into your body?
So much, so much. Yeah,
Do you think it
I feel
helped you to
connected to the universe and the oneness. It's helping with all that. Yeah.
do you think it helped you to kind of perceive the astrological signs in a new way?
Absolutely. There's not like a wall there. It's not like it's out there somewhere. It's like I brought it into me, like literally into me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm so grateful for this practice that I figured out in my last class. I was like, oh, how do we make this real for us and not just on a piece of paper? It's like flat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the
awesome.
body is so important because it is our antenna, and we've become so tuned out to it, and to be tuned in again is a real gift. Thank you for
Yeah,
this experience.
yeah, totally. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here, Karen. Thank you so much. Yeah. All
I
right,
think this
go ahead.
gives, I'm sorry, a new perspective of that, of the quote, the universe is within us, literally. So thank you so much. This was incredible.
Awesome. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I as a hands-on learner, like I just love the embodiment side of things. It just really helps, like those of us. I think it's important that people that learn and connect differently, that helps people in that way. And also I was getting some other insight about the cervix and also the the met, like, so us women, we have the cervix inside like our vagina space where we can touch it and like feel it. Let's say when we've had a IUD or an IUD insertion, or like when we're doing, like using menstrual cup, we can feel our cervix. So like touching, connecting to our cervix that way. But I was also seeing like men's and women's bodies in, like, when they're developing, like when you think of the penis, the head of the penis also being like women's bodies is like an internal version of what the men's external have. Don't know if that makes sense. I was just seeing the image of it, like the head of the penis is also like us women, we have the internal version of like that. Like we've got the clitoris, but we've got the internal. Yeah, I was just seeing like the head of the penis, but that being like the tip of like the cervix.
Yeah, it's interesting, Kit, is that I think in the man, I would actually be our clitoris would be the tip and the head of the penis. So that would be the match. But when we come together, it's the tip to the cervix, right? So maybe it's that connection between the two, which relates back to how the sun is with Mars tonight and the Venus is with the moon. And now we're having this conversation about the coming together of the masculine and the feminine, which is what literally brought us here. Like we are literally here because of that moment between our mom and our dad.
Yeah.
Like our birth would not have happened if we hadn't had that moment with our parents hadn't had that moment of touching God through that physical act of connection. And, some people actually do charts for their conception date. So that's another avenue of astrology, is doing conception astrology to tune into the energies of that moment when your impulse of you was created. So beautiful and so powerful. Wow. When we open up the charts and we start to go into them, all kinds of very deep awarenesses can come up. Please feel free to share them in the group, share any aha moments. Be sure to, share with each other and talk to each other, because it's amazing what portals of consciousness this starts to open and bring to light. Wow. Awesome. I love it, Kit. I think it's like, I think we're really tapping into something, because Ophiuchus is known as the snake tamer. And what tames a snake more? Yeah, exactly. There we got some snake dancing going on. Yeah, yep, yep. Yeah, and it can also speak to our own snake energy, like our own feminine Shakti that we are working to tame as well for ourselves, right? So it's really like internal, external, feminine, masculine, right? It's both. Wow, amazing. Creation, the impulse of creation in action. All right, Yola, let's hear what you got. Come on in.
I'm just like absolutely like exhausted, and I needed to pop in to just say to everyone that this is actually really, really cool, because even though I went through entire masterclass, this piece of embodiment, it's a brand new information for me. So this just tells you guys that in the challenge you got so much knowledge. Just don't take it for granted. This is huge. So I
Yeah.
am very, very, very happy, because this is the first time I've seen that today. And I was just like, wow, that would be cool to now see and start looking at these charts with that in mind. So it's like, a new angle to the whole thing. So yeah, cool, very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Yola, I had some time after our first training. I was like, how do I really get this to people, you know? Because it was the first time with your masterclass that I'd even been attempting to teach this stuff. And so I was like, I really want them to get it. I really want you to get the information, embody it and have it and be able to use it. So I'm super stoked that it's getting through. And yes,
Yeah,
you
and
are.
I also wanted to say that, it's nice because after I finished the class, I just got involved in so much other teachings and other things. So this is a nice refresher and takes me back. And I know that we will be going into the reading the charts that you said we're going to go. This is going to be a nice little smoothing into the whole thing back, because I still feel that this is so powerful and we can do so much with this. And I've been used, and I'm telling you, everything that I learned when I have conversations with people. See, I have no plans to be an astrologer or reading like massive charts, but to have the possibility of tapping into clients like a hidden gems knowledge that he can explain. And as you know, like stuff that we did with my family, right? Like that stuff was like, what? Are you serious? So yes, I'm fascinated. I'm still like a kid, like listening and just, okay, like give it to me. And because you are so intuitive and you have a beautiful way of reading this stuff, like I just want to be like you when I grow up. So thank you so much.
Yola, you're awesome. I love you too. You're great. We're both born during the constellation of Aries, so I always think of Yola as my Aries sister, and Aries is our full on. We are full of fire and full of creative energy, and we charge ahead and we love to learn new things. And so I'm really glad you're here. I'm glad you're getting this refresher. And yeah, sometimes it takes a couple layers, but luckily, I think I'm starting to get a little bit better at teaching it so that you all can get it and have it and use it in your body. Super glad you're here, Yola, and glad you're all here. Yeah, this is really a special gift. I'm loving every moment of it. Anyone else want to share any key takeaways or any questions before we wind up for today? Okay. So thank you all. And if you get that last question, just raise your hand. Yola, did you have another question, or your hand's just up because it's up because you're chilling out and relaxing? If you would like to go further, we're going to reconvene tomorrow at 4:30. And tomorrow, I want to walk you through the stages of the houses, because it's kind of like I showed you that graphic of the houses and I was like, this doesn't do you justice. Like, this does not explain them properly. And so the houses are like the stages of our lives, right? And so when you're looking at that chart, those 12 houses are all the different arenas and stages that we walk on. The house of identity, the house of relationship, right? The house of our emotions, our family, the house of career. So we're going to go through that, and then we're going to look at our own houses and start to give you a write-up for you of, okay, what sign do I have on each of my houses? What planets do I have there? Right? And we'll actually get out a piece of paper, and I'm going to have you all write out some of your chart info. And that was how I learned, was just writing it down, just writing it down. Writing down what the planet is, writing down what the sign is. I'm going to teach you, like, how do you start to really learn this stuff, and that's what I did to get here. So any questions, any final comments before we finish for today? It's been awesome. Yeah, I could feel it. I knew there was, yes, go ahead.
I won't be here tomorrow for the live, but I'll get the replay. I've got another commitment, but I was getting some images there to do with the houses, and I was curious, like let's let's say like different houses, like in a suburb, or like would the houses also be like rooms within a house? Like I was getting the image of, like, let's say interior designer like doing different rooms, or like would it actually be different houses like in a area?
Yeah, I think some of them are kind of like different houses in the area. And I think that you have 12 houses in your house, your house of life, right? That are all designed in different unique ways for who you are. And that's why if you meet someone who has an ascendant that's exactly the same sign as yours, guess what? They're gonna seem like you. You're gonna have so much in common, especially if it's the same degree of that sign. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll
Thank
try
you.
and I'll try and include that as well for you in the replay kit. Thanks for letting me know. It's been really nice having you. Yeah. Karen, did you have a question?
Very quick, how much do minutes matter in our chart? Like if it's 4:25 versus 4:21 was the actual time, and how do we know? I mean, doctors like do things like write it down right away, or maybe they, chat with the nurse and see what's going on, and then they finally write down. So how accurate is it to the minute and the hour as far as the overall chart?
Yeah, good question. What I've noticed with my own chart is that, yeah, they don't always write it down. And so, yeah, we have a certain margin of error that we're working with here in terms of who remembered our birth time or not. My mom was like, it was 4:30. And then I talked to her later. She's like, well, I think it was 4:15. So what I've seen is that like 10 or 15 minutes is when things start to really change. But in terms of 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, it's not as much of an impact. Any other, got you. Any other questions? You all good for tonight? Yeah, go ahead, Nancy. Oh, go ahead and unmute. There you go.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm for tomorrow, you said it's 4:30?
Yes.
Okay.
Does
And
everyone
I
have
just,
the link? I know the link was not working for some reason today, and I was like, no one's here. I was like, where'd they go? So does everyone have the link? Should be the same link. I'll make sure I have the right link.
the same link. I used,
Same
I
link.
did use the same link. And I just wanted to just say I'm so grateful. Yes. Thank you.
Oh, so cool. I'm so excited for you when people get to have that first moment with astrology and we got to watch it. Oh, that was special, Nancy. Thank you for being an angel and sharing with us, and what an amazing revelation. So cool. That made my night.
It really was. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Any final things? Are we all ready here? Okay, I just want to send you all big love and blessings and gratitude for each of you and your gifts that you are here developing and bringing forth. And just setting that prayer to everyone that you'll have a beautiful night. And I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. and super stoked that you could be here. Alex, are you going to be joining us, or is this your last night? I think this was maybe your last night with us for the replay.
Yeah, I emailed you because I have work for.
Okay. Okay. Well,
I
I
really
hope
want to watch the replays. So
good. I will include your I will make sure to say hi to you and try and bring some information for you as we go through it. And I look so forward to seeing you all tomorrow. And I think we're gonna just have an even more amazing time. Just keeps getting better. So please leave a comment in the group. Please share, any insights you're having so other people can see what we're learning and what we're experiencing. And I look super forward to meet with you all more. So sending you all love and light. It's been awesome. Have a beautiful night, ladies. Love you. Aloha.
Much love and light.
Good night.
Sorry if it's hard to catch my vibe. I need a lover to trust. Tell me you're on my side. Are you up, down for the ride? It's not easy for someone to catch my eye, but I've been waiting for you for my whole damn life, my whole lifetime. Don't be afraid to tell me if you ain't with it. I see your focus, yeah, you're so independent. It's hard for me to open up, I'll admit. You got some shit to say and I'm here to listen. So baby, tell me where your love lies. Waste a day and spend the night underneath the sunrise. Show me where your love lies.
I've been so into your mystery. Is it because of our history? Are you into me? When it feels so good, but it's bad for you. Can't say I don't want it, cause I know I do. Come on over, I need your company. Craving that synergy. Don't be afraid to tell me if you ain't with it. I see you focus, yeah, you're so independent. It's hard for me to open up, I'll admit it. You got some shit to say and I'm here to listen. So baby, tell me where your love lies. Waste a day and spend the night underneath the sunrise. Show me where your love lies. If you're down, don't hide it. Feeling me, you don't gotta deny it. Baby, you gon' make me overnight it.